Hello.
Hi. Hi.
Hello. Nice to see you.
It continuously evolves for me what Dance Work Connect means. I think that it's alive in and of itself. It's not only a a clear way of letting people know this is our priorities, but it's actually a method in which we operate everything within Dansii. I think for me, it developed from breaking down so many aspects. What it is to be a dancer, movement, physicality, rhythm, embodiment, all of that is so important. But that has to be balanced with the education, understanding, the paperwork, the bureaucracy, the
Yeah.
business. Art is business as well to a certain extent. And then beyond that, none of that would exist without the connection. And connection is so vital these days. So, yeah, that's how that all works together for me.
Yeah, great. So, imagine, no, it's not imagination, but like I'm an artist and I want to go to Dansii. I want to get
Mhm.
connected with you, so I want to kind of take advantage of what you do. So, can you explain a little bit better so how this process goes between you and the
Sure.
artists and organizations? So, what do you do basically in a very like simple way so that everyone can understand exactly so what you serve?
So right now we're still in development.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to get involved, it's more on a collaborative basis or a strategic research basis. We're not actually open for business, so to speak.
Okay.
Um, so when we open for business, which we're really hoping and pushing for winter 2020, 2021, it would be as simple as signing up for any social digital networking platform in the sense that you go to the website and you sign up, and the tools will be available to you on the side. You'll have your own profile, you'll have your own dashboard, resource center. So we're trying to really streamline the user experience and, if anything, eliminate us as the middleman and instead make it something that can be directly facilitated digitally.
Okay. So and do will you kind of charge any types of fees? So how this is going to work as well?
Mhm.
If you can
We're in
discuss
discussion.
it more now. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like it changes so frequently. There's so many factors. It depends on our funders, our sponsors, of course. In discussing with the board, there's several different revenue models that we're looking at. So, yeah, it's very dependent on so many external factors that one of them largely also being that we're talking about, and a community of artists that right now we're going through a recession, a global pandemic that's very difficult on many financially. So taking everything into consideration, we will most definitely have 3 months of a free platform, and then we will do our best to make sure that our platform is affordable.
Yeah, great. Yeah. We have a question now, and I think
Sure.
it can be answered now, which is very good from Desert Channel. So, what's your top pieces of advice for dancers starting their own business? So, can you give us like three tips, just like
Sure.
advices?
My advice. I would say develop, think, like really take the time to develop, digest, consider, question, research, communicate with people. And once you've done that, educate. I think at some point it's very important to educate and seek mentorship beyond just your idea. And my third idea would be then to get somebody backing your project. So
Yeah.
create sustainable structures and funding avenues that start from the seed.
Yeah, which is like very important. So, and among all of this process, so what was your most challenging phase, like for you for Danzi, with your specific case? So, what was the most challenging for you?
Hmm. Our most challenging phase. Um, and I don't know if we're necessarily out of it, but I
Okay.
would say it's been very challenging trying to fit all these different puzzle pieces together. I'm a new business owner.
Yeah,
I come from a physical and emotional background. I don't come from a business art background. So understanding all the different moving parts beyond just this is our strategy, this is our plan, let's execute. But okay, there's really individuals that are doing these tasks and these jobs that I have to learn how to fit all these different moving parts together. Yeah, I often like to see it like building a house.
Yeah.
And I say this to my team all the time. And it's like, okay, we need to first get our foundation and our base done. And then once we're there, it's so much easier to paint the walls and to put down the right floor and to decorate, you know, but getting that foundation right is a challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's super important to take the time and to have like some kind of perseverance when you are building up a new business, because it takes long time.
Yeah.
So that's why it's very important as well to get some help, to get like everyone backing your project, if it's like from governmental funding,
Right.
or private. I know like this is quite difficult. It takes a lot of time, but I think it's kind of in the long term to make your startup, your new business sustainable, you know. So I think it's very important in the arts to also understand this is a very long process. Yeah.
And that's also related to another thing that I was thinking about, that is when you are a dance artist, or when you are an artist and you study dance and you are a performer or you are a choreographer, you don't get skills to develop your own business. So it requires you extra time to learn new skills, to understand how other areas work to make your project happen. And I see Dansii as a really important tool and platform for dancers to get those lessons or those skills. But I would like to hear from you, Emily. How can Dansii can support these dance artists that are just starting and they have no idea how to start? Because if we know what are the gaps or what are our problems, we know what we are looking for. But when we graduate and we have no idea how to start, what can you do?
Yeah, that's a tricky question, because I honestly think that it needs to start prior to graduation. I think that if we don't collaborate with educational systems, that there will always be some sort of hiccup, you know, because yeah, I mean, as great as a school can get, let's be very specific and talk about dance training. So your teachers are often going to be ex-dancers, of course.
Yeah.
And they're most likely going to be 30 or 40 years your senior, sometimes 20 if you're lucky. And this creates such a gap, again, in what it was versus what it is now. So if we don't start in those educational systems, then I think, yeah, that gap won't go away. So to speak to how we want to do that, that won't actually be something that's available upon launch, for example. That's more of a future plan in collaboration with schools. So for launch specifically, our intentions are to open the door.